What? Now look, I heard about this Tom and Jerry movie a while ago. I didn't think it was gonna be real. I thought this was gonna get canceled. The last one is actually a guilty pleasure for me. I don't think it's awful like everybody does. I mean, it's not Tom and Jerry, but whatever. It's not a terrible film, right? But like, it's not a good movie. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's like a Tom and Jerry movie from the '90s and stuff. You can look that up and watch it. But yeah, I saw some people saying this looks okay, like the animation is nice or whatever. No, I disagree. This looks terrible because it looks like the Smurfs, Alvin and the Chipmunks, except they're trying to do they're trying to fool you basically and make you think, oh, it's gonna be Tom and Jerry. I doubt it's gonna be that. And here's the thing, I hate the 2D animation in this because it's not 2D, it's CG. Number one, it's not blended in with any of the backgrounds. You can tell that they don't work within the shots within the film or within the trailer. And it's like there are movies that have done this well, movies that were made by Warner Brothers that have done this well. You know, there's Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is not Warner Brothers, it's a Disney movie, but that is how you do 2D animation. There's Space Jam. There's Looney Tunes Back in Action. Why couldn't they do that? That is beautifully animated stuff. Say what you will about those movies. Maybe they're not greatest movies, but like, that is gorgeous. Gorgeous animation. And you're saying, no, let's do our terrible CG. And I think it's just because they want to make the budget lower. Now, I know they did, I believe they did the animation in quarantine. Cool. But this should have never been done like this. If you could not animate it beautifully and make it work and film it with the actors in the scene and make it look good, then this film should have never been made. Because this is just terrible. It looks awful. Like, I don't have a problem with them doing a Tom and Jerry movie like this with that. But if they incorporate it well into the background, sure. But again, it's like, why are we doing a Tom and Jerry movie? The whole point of Tom and Jerry is they're shorts. They're short segments of just a repetitive thing. Cat and mouse fight. Cool. What makes it funny is the short and they don't talk. Well, now that you're making a movie, now they have to have people in there because they don't want to make them talk because that was the thing that everybody hated about the last Tom and Jerry movie. So what is the point of this movie? I don't think kids like Tom and Jerry. I mean, there's a lot of the Tom and Jerry shows they make nowadays like only last 1 or 2 seasons. They're not very popular. And I think a lot of that has to do to the fact that they have to tone down the violence, which is like, that's really stupid. Because like the shorts I watched from the 40s, not really that violent. Yeah, there was some racist stuff in there, I get that, but like the shorts weren't they were like, okay, they're violent, but that's the whole point. And it's like, it's a cartoon and it's not realistic. It's very exaggerated violence. So I really think the people who are like too violent for children, number one, those shorts were not made for children. They were made for adults. Like, adults would go see films in the theater and then they would see these shorts in front of films. So all those people are like, animation is just for children. Wake up and realize the facts. That animation started as things that were aired for adults and recognized by only adults until television came around. Until television came around in the 50s and 60s. Animation has been around since the 1920s. Just remember that. And it's just kind of weird that Tom and Jerry is like kind of this brand that Warner Brothers wants to keep going, but they can't keep it going in the same way you do Scooby-Doo and things like that because it's dead. It just factually is. You know, Looney Tunes, those characters had personality. There's things you could still do with them. They were able to make like a sitcom out of the Looney Tunes that was good. They were able to make like Space Jam and Looney Tunes Back in Action and some newer shorts. While not as violent as the older ones, they're still good. You know, there's a lot of great stuff out there that's actually well done that you can do with the Looney Tunes because those characters have personality. Without the violence, there's no point to Tom and Jerry, and so the whole brand is just kind of dead. They keep making these direct-to-video movies, but they're boring because the slapstick isn't funny, because they can't make it violent. And kids don't like Tom and Jerry because it's boring to them. It's not funny. Adults don't like Tom and Jerry because it's boring to them and not funny anymore. And it's just like, why are we doing this? Why are we still making Tom and Jerry? Like, let's stop. And now we're going to make it some crappy kids movie? This isn't going to work out. It's going to be bad. And, like, I think what's just going to happen is theaters will not be open by the time they want to release this movie. And they'll just put it on HBO Max. And I'm cool with that. I won't watch this movie. Maybe if it's, like, cheap on, like, a Black Friday on Blu-ray or something, then I will not pay money to see this in a theater because I want these trends of movies to die. I want these trends of it's blank in the real world, okay? Sonic was kind of an exception, but still, like, why would Sonic do that, you know? Sonic was a bad exception. It's like, wow, you still want to do the character meets in the real world scenario. Like, let's stop with that scenario, okay? If there's a character people like, let them be the character they like without throwing in stupid human characters. Like, really, stop it. I think this movie is gonna be bad, of course, but I don't think it's gonna be as bad as like Smurfs and Alvin Chipmunks. I'm just saying it looks like that. Seems like they are paying more respect to the source material, but that doesn't help. You know, they play generic pop songs in this trailer. They had a lot of modern kind of attitude about it. You could tell the type of film this was. It seems like a very dated kind of 90s type movie. It looks terrible. I like the elements of them being closer to the source material, but again, it's not going to be as funny as the source material, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s shorts. You know, we're just done. I'm just done with it. So what'd you think of Tom and Jerry, the movie trailer? Are you excited to see this movie just like I am?